Welcome back, all my Minecraftian friends. This is the player update for episode 4 of the Minecraft Hardcore Challenge for October 2015. Enemy territory. And let's start with Ron Smalek. Ron Smalek did some fishing, did some caving, got a lot of iron. He started building a platform high up a wall. So, yeah, he went up, high up a wall, and he started building a platform on the side of the wall. Don't know how the rest of it's gonna, don't know what his long-term plans are, but I'm sure it'll be interesting to see what he does. Next we have Life with Teens. In episode 4, she finally got her full iron armor. She went out the back door, and she went exploring, looking for pumpkins and anything else that might be interesting out there. She came back, she made bread, she was still hungry, she did some wheat watching. When she got tired of that, she went mining and got some more iron. Okay, next we have Jagaz Mom. Jagaz Mom started off her episode with a couple of apples, so that was handy. She worked on her house. She was watching wheat, but while she's watching wheat, she's tree farming. She finally got some bread. Then she went caving, and while she's caving, she's throwing down slabs to limit her expenditure of energy. And then when she came back, she got an apple. Yeah, cut down a couple of trees, got an apple, and then was able to regen her health. So she's back up. Next we have John Fowl 92. He did some tree farming. He's building a catwalk a ways like halfway up. He's decided to turn the entire valley into a giant castle, and the inside of the valley is going to be like the inside of the courtyard of the castle. Also, at the end of his episode, he removed the water from his farm, so his farm is now dry. He's probably got plans for rehydrating it some other way. Maybe he's gonna get a water bucket and put water down there. I don't know, but yes. Next we have Cherry Bitters. Cherry Bitters started her episode by caving, and then she found a zombie dungeon. She said she saw the zombie dungeon on the last episode, and I looked at her last episode, and what I saw didn't look like a zombie dungeon, but, apparently it was, because it was. And she captured the zombie dungeon relatively quickly, got the goods from the chest. On her way back, she picked up some more gold, so now she can make a golden apple. Then she made a lot of bread. Well, she killed a bunch of skeletons and got the bones, and then came up and bone milled her farm out by the river and made bread, and moved all her farming stuff into her inventory so she can, when she gets to the Hidden Valley, she can put down a new farm. And she started tunneling toward the Hidden Valley, but then ran out of time. So next episode she will probably continue tunneling toward the Hidden Valley, which I would say she's the last one that hasn't reached the Hidden Valley yet. Everyone else has already got there, but she's well outfitted as far as having full armor and having plenty of food and having lots of stuff. So okay, next we have OG Otosan. And OG, in episode 4, started building his house, and got quite a bit done. Spent the entire episode building. Didn't really do anything else. But next we have Load Central. The Load Central team, one of them got a piece of leather from fishing. Krista was attacked by a witch and got knocked down to 1 heart at the end of the episode. Dan and Alan started laying out the house. Jesse made a gravestone for Carly, and Rachel found more diamonds. Rachel is the perennial miner. Okay, next we have Lightbringer. Lightbringer got a carrot from a zombie, and he started building a round house. So, yes, he started building a round house, and then he added on a side thing, so it's like a round house with a, I don't know what would you call that. Kind of a keyhole shaped house now, I guess. Next we have 22 Scoops. 22 Scoops started out by doing some fishing. Then he decided to go outside and cut down some trees. So instead of tunneling out, he swam up one of the waterfalls. Once he got to the top of the mountain, he cut down some trees. Then he came back down the waterfall and worked on his house. He's doing an open plan deck style structure, so really no walls, no roof. Just considering the valley is already so protected, you know, he's just putting down a really big floor, and anyway, yeah, like that. Okay, next we have Nova Cookie 232. He was hungry in episode 4, still with no good food source. He cut some trees. He turned his iron that he was cooking into a full set of iron armor, so he's fully armored up now. He's been living off of zombie flesh and doing it fairly effectively. He did some caving. He came back and then expanded his farm, and then he went outside to hunt zombies. Okay, next we have Hawkminer. Hawkminer started out his episode by doing some fishing. Then he worked on his house. Then he did some carrot farming, and his house design is really well built. So you should check out his design there. Next we have Badheart MC. Badheart was making a fishing pond in the middle of his valley. Then he did some fishing, although his pond is only 1 block deep, and one of the things about fishing is that you know, the speed of the fishing is dependent on the volume of water blocks that are close to the bobber. So with a 1 block deep, you're limiting your volume quite a bit. If he made his fishing pond deeper, his fishing might go faster. So he fenced off the alcove side of the valley, you know, where the wide waterfall is. He fenced off that edge so that things weren't coming in from there. And he put some stone in some ovens to cook. Next we have Boonslayer. Boonslayer was cutting down some trees, watching wheat grow. He started on the foundation of his house, and he's still hungry. So, hungry Boonslayer. Next we have Digger Dan. No, not Digger Dan. Sorry, Digger Dad. Digger Dad got the iron out of the river. He collected seeds while he was out there, and sand, and he sheared some sheep to get the wool. Came back in, cut some trees on the inside of the valley, made bread. He made an endless water pool, and then he went caving. Granny's Got Game was hungry in episode 4. She did some terraforming. That's like moving dirt around. She was watching her wheat grow, She put out a few more torches to cover some dark spots. She did make a loaf of bread, but at the end of her episode, she was still hungry with no food. Next we have Kid Awesome 2. Kid Awesome 2 was tunneling. Then his tunnel ran into a cave and he did some caving, got some iron. He is having trouble following coordinates. He keeps overshooting. He finally arrived in the valley at the end of the episode. Okay, next we have Box. Box went off looking for a lava pool. He eventually found a lava pool. He made a portal using the bucket trick. He went to the nether. He got brown and red mushrooms. He forgot the glowstone. He came back to the overworld and killed some skeletons for their bones. Next we have Baker Bell. Baker Bell was watching wheat grow. Her wheat did grow and she made a loaf of bread. She cut down some trees and she got an apple. She still does not have enough, halfway through her episode she still didn't have enough food to regen. So then she went mining for a few minutes, then she came back, made another loaf of bread, and regened her health. So by the end of her episode she had regened her health, and she also finished up her armor, so now she has full iron armor. Next we have Outfoxed. Outfoxed was poisoned by a witch, but he did not die. He recovered. He was caving and he got some iron. He added an observation deck on top of his murder shack so he can go upstairs and look around, and he made bread. So he's doing pretty good. I like his observation deck. It looks very practical. Next we have Scody Garbitas. Scody was caving. He found some iron. He finished up his armor, so he now has full iron armor. He continued caving and found a whole lot of armor. A whole lot of iron. He made an anvil. Then he was lost for a few minutes trying to find his way out, which is kind of surprising considering he's the king of left torching. But he did eventually find his way out to the surface. He didn't find his way back to the hidden valley, but he's out on the surface somewhere. And I'm sure he can find the hidden valley from where he is. Next we have Technoscribe. Technoscribe went outside of the valley to collect sand and to collect seeds. She came back in and made a second mega farm. So now she has 2 mega farms. She grew a super spruce tree. And the super spruce tree she grew another super spruce a giant spruce on top of the giant spruce she already had, making a super spruce tree that reaches almost to the top of the mountain. In fact, I did the same thing in my episode 4. I'm going for a third, and I think she is too, so that we can actually get above the mountain and look around. Next we have Conjuring. Conjuring worked on her house. She went caving and found some iron. She came back and made bread. She was cutting trees and she got an apple. She sheared sheep for wool. And that's about it. Continued working on the house. Next we have Bong Bong. Bong Bong cut trees, made bread, went caving, found some iron, and he has multiple giant spruce trees in his valley now. I think he's got 4 of them. So he's got them all over the place. Next we have Jade LF. Jade LF worked on her house, she cut trees, she got an apple, and she made bread. Next is Bear Family 07. He went outside to look for seeds, found a few seeds, then he collected sand, then he did some fishing in the river, then he came back into the valley and did some tree farming. He expanded his farm, his wheat farm in the valley. He got an apple from a tree. A rabbit is trampling his farm occasionally, so I don't know if he wants to do anything about that or if he's just going to live with it. And then he finished up his episode by going mining. Next we have Piker Eyes. Piker Eyes got an apple. He worked on his house. He decided to go outside to look for sand and wool. But instead of tunneling out, he decided to run a ladder up the wall. So he ran a ladder up the wall all the way to the top of the mountain. Then he went outside and hopped down to the river and collected sand. And while he was out there, he also sheared some sheep for their wool. Next we have Andy Doan. Andy Doan made a farm inside the Hidden Valley. Other than cherry bitters, I think that's going to be the second to the last farm made in the Hidden Valley, because cherry hasn't even reached the valley yet. But yes, he finally made a farm, which is surprising because he doesn't seem to be having big hunger issues. He cut some trees. He was fighting a lot of mobs inside the valley, and he started building his house in the middle. And that is it for episode 4. In my episode 4, I'm still battling hunger. I don't think I'm regened yet. I can't remember for sure. Like I said, my second giant spruce grew on top of my first giant spruce, and continued my little steps going around it. I need to add a walkway to it before it gets so high that one slip and I'm dead. But I was thinking that a really good thing to do, which I don't even think I'm going to have time for because I need to finish the tower, but would be to make a large road, like tunnel road out the back door cavern to the opening behind the mountain. You know, like make a big arch that goes all the way from the outside of the mountain up to the valley, you know, and like level the floor out. Just have it like go through the caverns, you know, and make like an exit there that would be big enough for, you know, large wagons to go through and stuff. Something you would see at a castle, you know, big arched ceilings. You know, it wouldn't be that long of a tunnel, I don't think, but it would probably take longer than I'm going to have. But that's probably what I'll work on after the challenge is over. In the meantime, I think I'm just going to keep working on the tower. Okay. And this is Mike Deering signing out. I'll see you all in episode 5.